Hi there, and welcome to Story Time with Uncle Bill, and hoping to get you ready to eat. Wash my hands right quick. Today we're going to be talking about an open sea. I was sitting here thinking about it. Probably ain't many people ever cook as many places as I have. The actual first place I ever started cooking was right here in this kitchen. And we're gonna make a quick meal today. Somebody said, "Can you make a meal just without this?" When I seen this, it's not a lot. Thought about making some beef nachos. But what I really want to do, and when I thought about it, this is how when I was on the boat as a commercial fisherman, the setup would be similar to this, and it would be just like this. I'll show you in a second. Let me get started. Because by the time that I got on, and this is just ground beef, and we're gonna turn the thing on high, and then we'll lower it as it goes. It's already been taken out of the refrigerator for about 20 minutes. We're also gonna make some potatoes and gravy and corn with it. For the potatoes, you use hot water. For the gravy, you use cold. So it's 2 cups, so that's 4 cups. Let's see how good we are at eyeballing. That's pretty cold. It'll be 3 cups for that. So the second place I learned to cook was Bojangles. And then all in the same year, I worked at Bojangles, Taco Bell, and the retirement home at Bright Haven of Jacksonville, which would be my third place to cook, which would be an institution, which is a lot tougher than the other because you could actually kill those people. You add salt or too much sugar or stuff when they were not supposed to have it. So then I got in trouble and became a head cook in federal prison. And if you wonder what I got in trouble for, I got busted with marijuana. The federal government said I had to do 5 years. I already paid that. That was about 20 years ago. So, but when I got out of, just open a can of corn right quick. When I got out of prison, I got to go commercial fisherman as a what do they call it? Not longliner. Oh man, we catch groupers. I can't even think of a thing. It'll come to me. And I had no idea about life on the boat. I've been on the boat fishing plenty of times, but actual life on the boat. When you go out on a boat to actually make money where you have to live on the boat. That's what we had to do. So for the taters, we're going to salt them really good. I like a lot of pepper in mine. And butter. So by the time I got out there, I was already a seasoned cook. But it was different. Because the ocean doesn't cooperate with you like concrete or rubber or any other stuff, wood, any of the other substances that I had been on. Did I even got that on? I've done it. Okay, so that's how it would come. You'll get a little pack of meat, and sometimes it'd be sausage, sometimes it'd be hamburger, sometimes it'd be pork chop, but it's all ground. You ain't got time to make no hamburgers. You ain't got no time. You ain't got no time to make no meatloaf or none of that stuff. You just throw it in the pan, cook it as fast as it can, throw some kind of gravy on it. Make some of these either taters or rice, and go. See how. Now these mashed potatoes, they cook fast. But see, when you're out on that boat, or anywhere in life. And they'll spit at you, ain't got enough water. Because the ocean never moves. I mean, you're standing here. Look, man. the the oven has these metal rails on it that go around it to keep the pots and pans, but they're still sliding marginally. You have to be careful. Okay, so when I get my taters like that, a little milk. And you know, it's just hard to understand. You know, you're coming over here, ain't much to hold on to. There's not a whole lot of space neither. I mean, and it's just not going to stop. People looking at you, hoping that you're going to fall. Hungry, waiting for you to get it done. I loved it. Man, I loved it. Or the dudes, they come, you know, we're out there catching fish. We got all the bait in the world. The other thing, they call lobsters. Shrimp would come by, squid would come by. I'm not a real big fan of eating a whole bunch of that stuff. There's a lot of things out there that I don't eat. I just don't eat it. They would cut it up raw, man. I mean, raw dog right there. You know, I know people like that. I watch all kind of cooking channels. I ain't do it. Tear it up, man. Tear it up. I wasn't the only one that cooked. Matter of fact, I probably only cooked, like, if I went on 150, 200 trips, say I put on 200 trips, I probably only cooked 30 times. Just some dudes like to do that shit, man. They just, oh, no, I got it. And normally when that happened, it was some kind of gravy biscuit. Every time. I had so much gravy biscuits out there on that ocean. And see, it tears your stomach up too, man. That's one of the things, like, you had to go in a bucket. There wasn't no fancy bathroom, and the bucket didn't even have like a toilet seat on it. It was just a toilet seat. So, I mean, a bucket, you rim around the ass. Never thought about it like that. Yeah. And I'm going to be honest with you folks, man. I used to, because you had to go out the back of the boat. So when you're out at the back of the boat, everybody's going, and it's normally while we're traveling too. Hate to tell a poop story right in the middle of cooking, but it was just what it was. And I always wondered if they used to wonder if I was going to fall. I wouldn't. Well, man, same bucket you got to go clean with. And I never dropped any food. Never fell. It was always tough, but wow. Maybe we can get out on the boat. A lot of the people that I went with, they were retired. And shout out to you, man. Little Bill, Pee Wee, Cannonball. These guys are out of Morehead City, North Carolina. They're known around. Those dudes, those commercial fishermen, man, they go hard. Like pirates. They have a good time too. I mean, a damn good time. I drank one sip of beer out of 200 trips. That wasn't my thing. That wasn't my thing at all. And we always went out. We had no less than, I think, about 70 cases of beer for 4 days. Those dudes was getting right. When I say they was getting right, they was getting right. Catching fish, though, nobody cares if you catch it, if you're making money. The roof will come down if you ain't making $1, though. And there was times we went out here and we owed money. When we left the dock, I don't know if you know it, but you know, you got to pay for gas and the bait and the ice and the groceries and any kind of like it depends on your captain on what he'll provide for you. Some provide cigarettes. You got to pay them back, but they'll get you out there going. That's what you want, get you out there going. But if Jacob, you have to, man, we had to catch like our boat held 50 boxes of fish. We had to catch 10 boxes of fish before we made it, before anybody saw $1. Anybody, the owner, the captain, anybody. And that's a lot of fish. That's a lot of fish. Like 500 pounds. I think we only missed that like 10 times. And it sucks. You got there fishing for 4 or 5 days in a row. You ain't take no shower. You've been crapping in a bucket, taking a bath out of that same bucket that 4 other people crapped in and took a shower in. Cooking like this, no sleep. You'll get like 30-minute nap because the ocean never stops moving, but you sleep hard. You sleep hard, and the engine never cut off. Our engine's never cut off. The only time the engine cut off is when it ran out of diesel, which it never did, and when they changed the oil right in the middle of the ocean. We had 2 800 horsepower diesel Caterpillar engines in the boat. They were loud. I imagine they could have been louder though, but you get used to the noise. Sometimes those dudes would actually get really drunk and be able to sleep for a while, but I couldn't because there's just too many things out there that can happen. The biggest being another boat. Oh, Lord, did you see that? Little grease fire. I was actually sitting about that, thinking about cooking out there, and that's all this was. This is what you saw. Let me show you. But you got to imagine that the outline of the stove has a metal guard right around here. And you just had the mashed potatoes. Look how good they look. The corn, we ain't even did anything to that yet. And the gravy. And that, I mean, you would just see that would be every single meal would almost look just like that. But it might be green beans or some other vegetable that normally is either, you saw mashed potatoes and corn or mashed potatoes and rice. Those 2 things are a staple. They love that. And I did too. But you people that love fish, that love deep sea fish, groupers, snappers, beeliners, American snapper, trigger fish. What else was it catching out there? The pink snappers. All kind of good stuff. I mean, the fish still moving, cutting them up and throwing them in the oven, pan frying them, eating them raw. Dog, I ain't eating that raw. So you see what we have. So they always do like this. You take the gravy, you pour half of it right in the meat. That'll flavor the meat up. You just turn that around for a couple minutes right there. Then you yell out to the crew, come and get it. That's the favorite part. You be hungry out there. After about, I started in the wintertime, but when we got back out in the summer, all I wore was boxers. No socks, no shirt, no pants, no shorts, just boxers. Slinging fish in the boat. But you spend a lot of time chasing the fish. And ain't always just sit on one spot and you catch fish all day, because the most we had was 7 hooks on a line. And there's nothing like you got a whole rally rig. Each hook's about a foot apart. So I don't know if you can tell, but this is probably about 7 foot for me to you. You have 7 50-pound fish on there. I mean, each fish is at least this long, about that big around. Got a head that you got a mouth that he could put on top of your head. I mean, a big. He got his air bladder sticking out because I done brought him so far from the depths that the compression just sucked it out. When they fall off the hook, and then they do fall off the hook, or your line breaks, they can't even go back down. They just float. If you could go get them, if the current ain't bad, you just go get them. They'll float for about an hour. But eventually the air bladder will go back in, and the fish ain't dead. They'll go back. You'll be in the boat thinking the fish is dead, and he'll start flopping. We put some salt and pepper in the corn that we didn't do yet. Yeah, I recommend cooking at your house. I recommend cooking at a fast food restaurant and a retirement home. Unless you never have to go to jail or prison, those aren't particularly good places to have cooking experience. But if you don't have any, and if you do end up going to those places because you get in trouble, that I highly recommend that you don't. You can just stop. Get in the kitchen. You never be hungry. You learn to trade if you don't know how. And when you get out, you can make some money in. Remember, I said don't get in trouble. All right, let's make some plating. Man, I miss being out there on that ocean. And I actually try almost every day, in some way, shape, or form to get out there. But I always just miss somebody, or the timing ain't right, or they forgot. It's okay. So, also, on the plating scheme, we don't do no fancy plating. This is almost barbaric. So it's called slop on top. Slop on top. Remember that. And what that means, you put all the slop on top of each other because you got to eat. This ain't about pretty. This is about getting it in your belly. Oh, yeah. All right. This is what it is right here, folks. Slop on top, mashed potatoes, ground beef and gravy with corn. Can't beat it. It's quick. I probably had this, if it was 200 times, at least 50. At least 50. And I just can't go without seasoning stuff one more time. Need a little salt. Always need a little pepper. Did I even season that ground beef at all? I don't know if I seasoned it. It was good. It was really good. Gravy saved the day on everything. You gotta remember, you're trying to eat like this too. It ain't holding your food. You know, one of one of your best friends is a roll of masking tape because it holds your drink. You got all these sticky pads, stuff, so stuff really don't slide good. The problem is the whole boat is moving. Sometimes violently. You catch a rogue wave, and then you're used to going like this. It feels good to do that without my back hurting. But I'm also just moving my legs instead of my back. And then you hit a rogue wave or captain turns, jar everything in you. But I'm gonna try hard to get out there and try hard to make a meal out there too. I hope we can catch it 2 different ways, a good day and a bad day. Because that's one thing you can't determine about nature, what day you're gonna have. Very few days out of 200, maybe 5 that I woke up and it was glassy. And I mean a flat surface in the ocean. It's incredible. Especially after you fight it so much. I mean, there is just so much of this right here, man. It just non-stop. And when you get back to shore, you ever heard that term, you got sea legs? Well, guess what? The earth doesn't move. Every time I got off the boat, I went and sat on the dock for about 20 minutes. Because the world still moved. Still moves. It goes away. It's weird. And it doesn't, when you go out, it doesn't happen like that. You just easily, that's why people get seasick and stuff. So much motion. And it can be real tricky on your brain seeing all that water and no land, especially at night. Especially you think, if you're one of those people that think about scary things or anything, something's going to get you. Think about the crackling or giant sharks, giant squids, megalodon. Could all be out there. But this is quick. One of my favorite things. You do it with anything. Stack Attack. I'm about to share this up. Hope everybody's having a good day and staying safe. If you can, hit that like button, share the video, subscribe if you haven't.